Welcome to Beyond Buzz. Sometimes, the most profound truths aren't delivered in a press conference or found in official reports. Instead, they surface in raw, unfiltered conversations, like the one recently leaked from my podcast studio. This wasn't just any chat, it involved leading astrophysicists and planetary scientists, and what they discussed could upend our understanding of the cosmos. The subject? An object called 3I/Atlas. The internet exploded as fragments of the audio spread, fueling speculation and excitement. What was so explosive? Why was this discussion hidden? The leak created a vacuum, quickly filled by wild theories and urgent curiosity. For decades we've been told about comets and asteroids, nothing more. But this leaked talk hinted at something far more complex, maybe even thrilling. The experts weren't just questioning data, they were questioning the entire framework we use to interpret interstellar visitors. This essay will piece together what was said, separating fact from speculation. We'll compare NASA's official story with the revelations from the leak. The goal isn't to provide all the answers, but to explore the questions and understand why this single object has sparked such intense debate. The truth is out there, and this leak may be our first real map. When 3I/Atlas appeared, NASA's announcement was simple: the third interstellar object ever detected, a classic comet from another star system. It was described as a body of ice, dust, and rock, following a hyperbolic path, just passing through. NASA's data showed the object brightening as it neared the sun, consistent with a comet's ice turning to gas and forming a glowing tail. The press releases celebrated a chance to study material from another part of the galaxy. As it approached the sun, 3I/Atlas began to fragment, supposedly overwhelmed by solar radiation and gravity. It broke into smaller pieces, which soon disintegrated and vanished from detection. The story was closed. A fascinating but ultimately ordinary cosmic visitor. The public and scientific community accepted this explanation without much fuss. It was a textbook case: observe, classify, explain. The narrative was comforting, reinforcing the idea that the universe's wonders follow known laws. There seemed no reason to suspect anything more. The leaked podcast painted a radically different picture. The experts weren't just skeptical, they were troubled by the official story. One astrophysicist said the numbers didn't add up. The outgassing lacked water ice, showing instead heavy, complex elements that shouldn't be there. A celestial mechanics specialist noted the fragmentation was suspiciously symmetrical, not chaotic, and the fragments maintained a coordinated orientation. Even stranger, the object made several small, precise course corrections, unlike anything explained by natural forces. Her team modeled every possible natural cause, but nothing fit. The implication: something was guiding this object. Most chilling, the experts agreed that key data had been withheld or altered. High-resolution readings replaced with lower-quality data that fit the comet model. They weren't accusing NASA of a grand conspiracy, but suggested a desire to avoid a paradigm-shifting discovery. The truth, they believed, was being managed, not shared. The official narrative was starting to crack. The object's composition is where the official story really unravels. The initial spectroscopic analysis was baffling. 3I/Atlas showed high concentrations of dense metals like titanium and vanadium, fused in ways suggesting artificial manufacture. These aren't materials that easily turn to gas. The podcast experts proposed the glow wasn't from sublimating ice, but from a powerful energy source interacting with solar wind, creating a plasma sheath. This would explain the brightness and the lack of water signature. The fragmentation: if the object was hollow or structured, it might break apart along pre-existing lines, not shatter randomly. The fragments disengaged, each behaving as a self-contained unit before fading. Radar data, allegedly suppressed, hinted at a smooth, non-porous, possibly metallic surface, unlike any natural comet. Natural comets are lumpy and porous. This was polished and dense. The evidence pointed to a solid, cohesive body, with a defined, non-natural structure. It was less like a comet, and more like a machine. The movement of 3I/Atlas is perhaps the most compelling evidence something was amiss. In space, objects follow gravity, unless something else intervenes. Comets can deviate due to outgassing, but these are random, not precise. The experts described 3I/Atlas's maneuvers as deliberate and non-ballistic. Before fragmenting, it executed tiny, almost imperceptible thrusts, altering its trajectory in measurable ways. The path seemed optimized, maximizing sun exposure, avoiding planets as if it had a mission. A natural object is a slave to gravity. This one had agency. The maneuvers could have been automated, pre-programmed adjustments, technology far beyond our own. The fragmentation was also strange. The pieces didn't scatter randomly but separated onto distinct paths, as if individually programmed. One expert compared it to a dandelion releasing seeds, not an explosion, but a deployment. The breakup looked like a planned event, the final function of an object completing its mission. The fragments weren't wreckage, they were the mission's conclusion. The path it took defied everything we know about natural objects. The gap between NASA's official story and the leaked podcast is vast. NASA offered a simple, digestible tale, a natural comet, a closed case. Their data was curated to support this conclusion, but the podcast experts described anomalies, suppressed data, and behaviors that defy explanation. Their version, 3I Atlas, was not a comet, but something far more complex, an object of unnatural composition, moving with purpose and breaking up in a controlled way. Why the discrepancy? The experts didn't claim a cover-up, but pointed to a systemic issue. Public-facing science often avoids radical discoveries that could cause chaos. Sometimes, institutions present the simplest explanation to avoid questions they can't answer. This raises a fundamental question: does the public have a right to know everything, even if it's confusing or frightening? The case of 3I Atlas sits on this fault line between raw discovery and polished narrative. Both stories can't be true. If 3I Atlas wasn't a comet, what was it? Theories abound, all speculative but grounded in the anomalies. One leading idea: it was an interstellar probe, a robotic explorer from another civilization, gathering data on our solar system. Its strange composition would be its construction materials, its maneuvers the work of automated systems. The fragmentation, maybe a catastrophic failure or a deliberate release of smaller sensor probes, each with its own mission. Another theory: it was a celestial seeder, designed to disperse organic molecules or microorganisms into promising star systems. Its breakup near the sun would scatter its payload, the unusual elements protecting its cargo. Or perhaps it's a natural phenomenon we don't yet understand, a new category of interstellar object, metallic and structured, formed under exotic conditions. Even this would force a massive revision of our models. The universe is stranger than we imagine. 3. Not be artificial, but it's certainly not ordinary. Whatever it was, it challenges everything we thought we knew. In the end, we're left with more questions than answers. The leaked conversation didn't solve the mystery, it revealed one. It exposed the gap between official astronomy and the raw, exhilarating frontier of real discovery. The cosmos is still full of surprises, and 3I Day may be one of the biggest. The story isn't over, the data is still out there. Independent researchers and amateurs are re-examining the event, searching for the anomalies described in the leak. Science is a decentralized process. If the truth is in the data, it will be found. The curiosity ignited by this leak won't be extinguished. This incident reminds us to stay skeptical, ask questions, and embrace the unknown. The universe doesn't owe us simple answers. Its truths are complex and layered. 3I Atlas is a powerful reminder of that. What was it? A comet, a probe, or something else? We may never know. But the search for answers is what matters, and the journey has only just begun.